Hey guys, and welcome to my 14th daily blog. Yes, this is my 14th daily blog. Still grinding, still pushing through it. Absolutely loving everyone. And if you are new to this channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. What do I do? What do I promote? What I do is I'm an entrepreneur, and what I do is I create my learning from every day into content that will be valuable to you. So as an entrepreneur, someone who's just hungry for success, you'll know that you'll learn consistently each day. You'll just be always trying to hunger and just induce more knowledge into you. Because that's what you should be doing, guys. It increases your value, therefore increases your income, and it gets you closer to your dreams. So that is what it is. As raw as it can be, this channel, it's all about my journey, and I create my learning every day into content that'll be valuable to you. At the end of the day, guys, I want us to be as successful as possible. So everyone watch this. I'm doing everything I can to make us achieve our destiny, so we get there together. It's all about working together, getting there together. So what is today's about? It's a very exciting one today. This is about how to make hard decisions. Every aspect of life, we have to make lots of hard decisions, and it's so crucial to make sure you make the right ones. But how do we do that? So make sure you stay tuned and find out. Welcome back. Now, how to make a hard decision. Isn't that an interesting one? I mean, we have to make decisions every day. I tell you what, I'll give you this interesting fact I found out, is I like to give a bit of background to my videos. According to multiple sources on the internet, the average amount of remotely conscious decisions an adult makes each day is 35,000. So we consciously, as an adult, on average, will make 35,000 decisions a day. That's mental. And in contrast with children, with young children, it's 3,000. So 35,000. I mean, that's just crazy. So there's so many decisions, there's so many things that are flying by our brain. So it's so important you're making the right decisions. Imagine making the 35,000 of the wrong decisions. You're not going to have a very good day, are you? So it's so important to make sure you're making the right decisions and that you're being efficient with them as well. So these are just some points sort of I've gained from my mentors. I've learned through my journey, and sort of what I've learned recently off my mentors. To make sure you can make the hard decision, because I've been struggling with that recently, making some hard decisions in work, just sort of things we're doing, and with promotion side of things, it can be difficult when there's a lot of competition trying to catch your eye. It can be difficult making decisions. So I thought I'd just home on that in this video, so we can really just get to the bottom of how we can get past hard decisions. Okay, let's get into it. So before I do carry on, actually, you must understand you should always listen, as we have 2 ears, 1 mouth. We should always listen. However, you make the end decision, and you must always remember that in everything I say now. Yes, we listen, but you will always make the last decision. It's up to you what decision you make. It's not up to anyone else. So just remember that whilst I go through this. So number 1, speak to people. As simple as it could be. Number 1, speak to people. I mean, it's just simple, isn't it? You have to speak to people, especially if it's a big decision. You have to engage with other people to get a different outlook on it, get an understanding of both views. They may see it from a different point of view. It's so important to do that, because it can give you a wider scope of what's going on. You can, most of the time when you're involved so deeply within a decision, it can be very difficult to see the full picture. Sort of a quote I say is, the more you look, the less you see. And it's so true. It is so true. So having fresh eyes, it's so important. It really does help. So you're speaking to people. The way I explain this, it's a bit of a funny one. I call this the sweetie jar principle. Really, I've made this up, okay? But the principle the principle itself is cast iron. It's just I made that funny little name. So sweet jar principle. What it is you remember that carnival trick where they had all the sweets in the jars and they said, guess how many sweets are in here? And then there was loads of sweets, and then everyone would guess. Someone would say 100, someone would say 1,000, 200, 300, 400. If you went and spoke to every single person that entered that competition that day, if you went to every single person, got every single number, and then homed down on the average number, you will very likely either get the exact number or within 5 or 10. You're going to get the exact number, because it's just odds. It's just like the gambling principle. So you've gained all that data. Say 1,000 people did it. If you got the average from that, it's going to be the right answer. It's just odds. So it's so important to speak to other people. So really, you have to understand that you should speak in your networks and understand a wider outlook of the decision. So, and again, what I will say, you take on what you want. So this is important, is that, like I said before I went on with this, is that yes, you should listen to others, and absolutely, and some of the information you might get from some people might be gospel to you. But you have to understand you make the last decision, and I'll go into that in a little later into the tips. But one thing that I really want to touch on is something I touched on two videos ago, my 12th daily blog. Definitely go watch it. It's hugely important about ego in image. What you cannot let yourself do is let your image stop you from listening. Now, this can be a real issue. Everyone faces it. It's kind of, whether you think you're very humble and to the ground, which I try to do every single day through morning routines and so forth. However, there'll always be times that you'll feel like you're better than people. But it's human nature. We're competitive. There are times where I'm in situations and I feel like I'm better than people. I'm not saying that I'm, oh, look at me, look at me. I'm just saying, it's hard not to naturally feel that. I don't act like that, but that's hard not to naturally feel like that. So you have to understand that this ego, your image, does not get in the way of getting some really good advice and outlook from other people. So that's just a key thing I wanted to mention there. And again, if you want to learn more about that, just make sure you go watch my 12th daily blog, and it goes into that really deeply, and it's really interesting. So, number 2, this expands on what I've just said. So yes, speak to people, but should we speak to everyone? You don't want to, for instance, if I'm going to go into the US, if I'm going to do a TV advert in the US, why would I go speak to someone, why would I go speak to an electrician in the UK? Why would I go speak to a painter in Russia? It doesn't make sense. You have to speak to the right people. Number 2, you have to speak to the right people. So you have to understand, and the best way to do this, as I've mentioned in many videos, it's a really key thing I try to push, is you have to build a network around a network that is a network of people that you aspire to be. So if you truly have clarity of what you want to achieve in life, then you need to surround yourself with those people who have already achieved that. Because if they've already achieved that, they know everything you're going to go through, and they know everything to get around it, because they're at the top, they're at the pinnacle. You need to surround yourself with as many as them, because they'll just cut the shit and they'll say it straight. And they will give you the straightest and the best cast iron answers and outlooks to every decision, because they've done it. They've done it, they've failed it, they've done it, they've failed, and they've understood what goes wrong, what goes right. And if you ask a few of them, you'll get a good round picture of the best way to go about it. So yes, you need to speak to people, but speak to the right people. Really important, that, guys, really key. So what I advise you doing is building a network, which I'm doing now, is building a network that around the people you aspire to be. That's really key that you do that. Number 3, and the final one. This is a funny one. This is a real funny one, because this is kind of, it's hard to quantify this one. And I'll give you some examples. Number 3 is sometimes you have to just go against the grain and just go with your gut. Sometimes you have to go against the grain and just go with gut. You just sometimes have to. There will be times where you'll have friends, families, advisors, experts that will advise against what you're going to do. But you might be so adamant in what you're going to do. And sometimes you'll go through with it and it'll be a complete failure, and they'll all be like, I told you so. And that happens. And odds say that you should listen to them, but sometimes we're just so focused on something, we're so passionate about this new product, this new service, or whatever it is, that it's going to work, that we're going to push it and just give it a go. Sometimes you have to. And it's not bad that you then fail. You're not an idiot, you're not stupid. It's not. You've learned so much there. When you've learned that doesn't work. 2, you've learned that you can trust your peers. You've trust your peers around you. 3, it means you've had the balls to actually push through the risk. Even though people said no, you've had the confidence to push yourself through the risk of potentially losing a load of money, potentially losing a load of customers, whatever it is. So there's 3 really great things there. Just make sure there's not the 4th thing and it was just stupidity. So that's sort of, again, that's hit and miss. It's kind of hard to quantify this one, because it's kind of hard to say what was stupidity and what was not, because other people would say different things. So it's kind of hard to quantify. But that really is it, is that sometimes you just have to go against the grain and just go with your gut. And I'll give you a fantastic example of this. It's a brand that I work with. So 2 brands. Cut 51. Great beauty brand. When we were going to launch that, we were going to launch it in 1 retailer. Now, everyone around us said that is insane. Like, you are an idiot. You cannot put it in 1 retailer and expect... Sorry, it wasn't even 1 retailer. Yes, it was 1 retailer, but they only have 1 shop in this country. So this wasn't like multiple shops like Boots or something. It has 1 shop. It's a very big shop, but it had 1 shop in this country. So everyone's like, no way are you going to be able to get this brand off its legs if you're just going to promote it in 1 shop. The reason we did it is a very high class anti-aging cream. So it was in Fortnum Masons, and we felt that's the only shop that suited it because it's the royalty shop of the UK. And they said we're mental. Cult 51 is now an international brand that sells all over the UK. Just on our UK website alone, it sells about £3,000 each, up to about £3,000 each day. Each month, I apologise. That would be amazing if it went each day. Every month, just on the UK website. Instant Effects, another brand I work with. That's another brand. People said you're crazy. Now, we push this to other retailers, and it's a lot more widely, we were more widely appreciating to go to other retailers. But again, people said you're crazy because we're trying 3 different products. Because usually you have, if you're going to skincare, you'll just go all the anti-aging, or you're just going to do hair, you'll do all the hair. We had 3 completely different products: lips, lashes, and eyes. I don't want to go too deep into beauty because you might not be interested, but I'm just trying to give you an understanding. So we're going for 3 different types of products, and we're putting it into 1 brand. People are saying you can't do that. Instant Effects is now an international brand. We're in over, I think, 12 countries now. We're close to striking some really good deals and some really interesting stuff. We're already nearly breaking into the US, and we're doing some much more interesting things that you're going to see also, which I can't delve into. But anyway, let's stop talking about me. So that's what I'm just saying. These are some great examples that it's just, we went against the grain of what everyone was saying, and it paid off. Sometimes it won't, guys. Sometimes it won't. I've done things that won't pay off, but these things did. It took a lot of grind. It is taking a lot of grind. Instant Effects, we've had that 3 years now. It's grinding, and things are really starting to churn now. But you have to understand, sometimes you just have to go against the grain. And it's up to you that you can take the firing line if it goes wrong, and you can take the issues if it goes wrong, and you can be all happy and in your joys if it goes right. So I'll quickly touch on those 3 again. Number 1, speak to people. More importantly, number 2, speak to the right people. And number 3, sometimes you have to go against the grain and just go with your gut. It's very important. So I hope you gained value from that, guys. I really hope you learned from that. Welcome again to the channel if you're new. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've got a new top. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that, but I've got a new top. So I hope you see that. Yeah, this is like a new sort of top I made. It's one of my favourite quotes. It's one of my favourite quotes. Can you see it? Yep, you can see it. One of my favourite quotes that I like. The best way to predict the future is create it, and that's by Peter Drucker. It's an amazing quote. It's something I stand by really strong. So this is a top that I'm going to wear every every video now. I sort of did it for a few reasons. 1, it's motivational. I like inspirational quotes. 2, it's my favourite quote. And 3, I'm always wondering which tops to wear on my videos. Like, I'm always wondering, like, should I wear this top, this? And sometimes I'm there just fumbling about. I'm just like, look, I'm sick of trying to fumble about. Why don't I just wear the same top? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to wear this top every time. There we go, done. I also made this mug, which is quite cool. I also made this mug. I don't know if you again, this is just sort of a motivational thing that I'll see if you can, I think you can see that, yeah. And that is my personal quote that I made. If the post breathes, it survives. Comment below if you understand that. I'll explain it in the next video. I want to see if you understand it, but I'll explain it in the next video because that's I like to see how you perceive what that means. It's about, I'll give you a clue. It's about social media. There we go, there's my clue. Anyway, as always, guys, it was a pleasure, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please follow me on social media, at Scott Mears on YouTube, at Scott Mears _ on Twitter, and Facebook, it's at Scott Mears Entrepreneur. As always, guys, thank you very much. I really hope you enjoyed that and gained great value from that. Until next time, see you then. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.